In a quiet town, there was a hospital that served many people every day. It was a large building with white walls and a long driveway. The hospital was always crowded with patients, their families, and staff rushing in every direction. The air smelled faintly of medicine and cleanliness. One morning, a young boy named Rafi walked toward the hospital with his little sister Amira. Rafi was only 10 years old, but he looked much smaller because he had been sick for a long time. His clothes were simple and worn, and his shoes had small holes. Amira held his hand tightly, walking slowly beside him. Her eyes were wide with worry, and she kept looking at Rafi to make sure he was okay. Rafi had been feeling very weak. His head ached and his stomach hurt. He had tried to stay strong, but today it was worse than ever. Amira had convinced him to come to the hospital after their mother had sent them with a little money she had saved. They had no other way to get treatment. When they reached the hospital entrance, the receptionist looked up from her desk. She was busy typing and talking on the phone at the same time. Rafi stepped forward and said politely, "Excuse me, I need to see a doctor. I'm very sick." The receptionist frowned slightly and glanced at him. She whispered something to the nurse next to her. Both of them looked at Rafi in a way that made him feel small. The nurse shook her head and said loudly, "You have to wait. We are busy with real patients first." Rafi's stomach sank. He had hoped for help, but now he felt the cold weight of rejection. He tried again, speaking softly but clearly, "Please, I cannot wait. I feel very bad." The nurse laughed quietly, and a doctor walking past stopped for a moment. He looked at Rafi, then at the other staff and said, "Let him wait. We have more important cases." Amira's hand tightened on Rafi's. She whispered, "It's okay, Rafi. Just wait for a little while. Something good will happen." Rafi nodded weakly, but inside he felt a mix of fear and sadness. He could feel the pain growing in his body and his hope shrinking. The waiting room was full of people. Some were sitting on chairs, some standing near the walls. A few looked at Rafi with curiosity, while others pretended not to notice him. Rafi tried to focus on the floor and breathe slowly. He remembered what his mother had told him. "Be strong, Rafi. Kindness always finds a way." Minutes passed, but no one came to check on him. His stomach rumbled and his head ached more. Amira looked around and saw other children getting attention from doctors quickly. Some children had their parents beside them with clean clothes and phones. Rafi felt different from them, as if he didn't belong. A kind old woman sitting nearby noticed Rafi's pale face. She asked softly, "Are you okay, child?" Rafi shook his head. The woman's eyes filled with concern, and she said quietly, "Don't worry. Someone will help you. Be patient, little one." Rafi tried to smile, but the pain in his chest made it difficult. Amira leaned close and said, "Rafi, maybe we can ask the nurse again. Maybe she will listen this time." Rafi nodded. He stood up, holding Amira's hand tightly, and went toward the reception again. The staff looked at him and whispered to each other. One nurse said, "The boy is dirty. Why is he here?" Another laughed softly. Rafi felt small, almost invisible. He looked down, holding back tears, wishing he could disappear. Rafi's heart beat fast with fear and hope. Fear because the pain in his body was getting worse, and hope because Amira never stopped believing something good would happen. He wanted to believe too. He wanted a doctor to notice him and help him get better. As he stood there quietly, waiting for someone to care, a small voice inside him whispered, "Be brave. You're stronger than you think." Rafi stood near the reception desk, holding Amira's hand tightly. His small body trembled from weakness, but he tried to appear calm. The nurses continued their whispers and laughter. One of them said, "Why does he keep coming back?" "He has nothing to offer." Rafi felt a sharp pang of sadness, but he did not turn away. He had no choice but to wait and hope. Amira looked at him and whispered softly, "Rafi, I know it is hard, but don't give up. Someone will help you soon." Rafi nodded, trying to breathe deeply. He focused on her words, letting them become a tiny flame of hope inside him. Suddenly, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed through the hall. A young doctor named Imran appeared. He was new to the hospital and had just started his shift. His white coat was clean, and he carried a clipboard filled with papers. Imran noticed Rafi standing quietly near the desk, looking pale and weak. Imran paused for a moment. Something about the boy's eyes and his quiet patience caught his attention. He leaned closer to the receptionist and asked politely, "Excuse me, who is this child? Why has no one attended to him yet?" The receptionist looked slightly nervous. "He has been waiting, doctor, but he is..." Different from our usual patients. We thought he could wait, she said. Imran's eyes narrowed. He did not like the word different used for any patient. Every patient deserves care, no matter who they are. Bring him to the examination room immediately, he said firmly. Rafi could not believe what he heard. His heart raced, and for the first time that morning he felt hope rising inside him. He looked at Amira and whispered, "Do you think he will help me?" Amira smiled softly and said, "Yes, Rafi, I believe he will." The nurse who had laughed at Rafi before looked shocked. She said quietly to her colleague, "The new doctor. He actually wants to see the boy?" The colleague nodded, feeling slightly ashamed. Imran led Rafi gently through the hospital corridors. The white walls seemed brighter now, and the smell of medicine did not feel as cold or scary. Rafi walked slowly, holding Amira's hand tightly. His small legs ached, but he tried to keep going. When they reached the examination room, Imran asked Rafi to sit on the bed. He examined the boy carefully. "You have been very sick for a few days. Did anyone give you medicine?" Imran asked softly. Rafi shook his head. "No, doctor. I tried to get help, but they did not pay attention to me," he said quietly. His voice was soft, but it carried a weight of sadness and exhaustion. Imran frowned. He felt a strong sense of responsibility and anger at the way Rafi had been treated. "I will take care of you," he said kindly. "You will get medicine and food, and we will make sure you feel better soon." Rafi felt tears welling up in his eyes. He had never been spoken to so kindly in a hospital. Amira hugged him gently and whispered, "See, Rafi? I told you someone good would come." Imran instructed the nurses in the room to prepare medicine and check Rafi's health. One of the nurses hesitated at first, but she followed the doctor's orders. Imran worked quickly and carefully, checking Rafi's temperature, listening to his heartbeat, and writing notes on his clipboard. While Rafi rested on the bed, Amira sat beside him. She held his hand and smiled whenever he looked at her. Rafi felt safe for the first time that morning. He could feel his energy slowly returning as Imran and the nurses worked efficiently. Outside the room, other hospital staff noticed what was happening. Some whispered to each other, feeling guilty for not helping Rafi sooner. A few patients' families also watched, realizing how badly the boy had been treated before. Imran did not pay attention to the whispers. His focus was entirely on Rafi. He gave him water, checked his breathing, and made a simple plan for treatment. "You will rest now, Rafi. I will see you again in a few hours," Imran said. Rafi nodded weakly, feeling the pain in his body slowly easing. Amira smiled at him. "See, Rafi? Things are getting better. You are safe now." For the first time that day, Rafi felt a spark of happiness. He realized that even when people were cruel or unkind, there were always those who would show care and kindness. And in that moment, he began to believe that everything could change for the better. Rafi lay on the hospital bed, feeling the cool sheets against his skin. For the first time in days, he felt a little comfort. His small body still ached, but the pain seemed lighter now. Amira sat beside him, holding his hand tightly, her eyes full of hope. The door opened, and Imran, the young doctor, returned with a gentle smile. "How are you feeling, Rafi?" he asked kindly. Rafi tried to sit up, but his body felt weak. "A little better, doctor," he said softly. Imran nodded and checked his charts. "We are giving you medicine and some food soon. You need strength to get better," he said. Rafi watched as the nurses prepared a small meal for him. The smell of warm rice and vegetables made his stomach rumble. He had not eaten properly for days. Amira helped him eat slowly, encouraging him to take small bites. With each bite, Rafi felt a little stronger. While Rafi rested, Imran stepped outside the room. He spoke to the hospital staff quietly but firmly. "We must treat every patient with respect. No one should ever be ignored," he said. Some staff members nodded silently, feeling ashamed of how they had treated Rafi earlier. Back in the room, Rafi closed his eyes for a moment. He could hear voices outside, whispers from people who had seen him being helped. Some were surprised that the boy who had been mocked was finally receiving attention. For the first time, Rafi realized that people could change. Suddenly, a nurse came in with a small chart. "Doctor, the boy's test results are back. He is very weak and needs immediate care, but there is nothing dangerous. With proper treatment, he will recover quickly," she said. Imran nodded, relieved. "Good. Let's start the treatment today and keep a close watch." Rafi opened his eyes when he heard the word treatment. He did not understand everything, but he knew that help was finally coming. He looked at Imran and whispered, "Thank you, doctor." Imran smiled gently. "You are very brave, Rafi. Just rest and get stronger." As the day went on, other patients and staff began to notice Rafi. Some whispered to each other, saying how unfair it was that he had been ignored earlier. Others shook their heads, realizing how cruel people could be when they judge someone unfairly. Even though some people felt ashamed, they could not undo the past. Meanwhile, Rafi's condition slowly improved. He received medicine at the right time, ate properly, and rested under Imran's supervision. Amira never left his side. She would read small stories to him from a book she had brought. Rafi listened quietly, sometimes smiling for the first time in days. The hospital began to feel different for Rafi. What had seemed like a place of fear and rejection now felt like a place of hope. Imran checked on him regularly, giving him gentle encouragement. He praised Rafi for his patience and bravery, reminding him that courage was not about never being afraid, but about staying strong even when things were hard. By evening, Rafi could sit up on the bed and even walk a few steps with Amira holding his hand. He felt tired, but there was a new energy in him, a hope that had not existed before. He realized that sometimes kindness could appear in unexpected ways and that it could change a person's life. Imran left the room for a short while, and Rafi whispered to Amira, "I feel a little stronger now. Maybe I will be completely better soon." Amira smiled and hugged him gently. "Yes, Rafi, we will get through this together. You are not alone anymore." Outside the room, the staff began talking quietly among themselves. They realized that their actions the previous morning had caused harm, but they also saw that it was never too late to correct mistakes. Imran's example showed them how to care for patients without judgment. Rafi fell asleep that night feeling safe and comforted. Even though the world had seemed harsh and unfair earlier, he now understood that goodness could shine even in difficult places. The journey to recovery had just begun, but for the first time, he believed that he could heal completely. The next morning, the hospital felt brighter and quieter. Sunlight streamed through the windows, touching the white walls with warmth. Rafi woke up slowly, feeling a little stronger than the day before. Amira was already sitting beside him, humming a small tune she had learned at school. Rafi tried to sit up on the bed, and Amira helped him gently. "Look, Rafi," she said softly, "you are really getting better. Your color looks brighter and your energy is returning." Rafi smiled faintly, feeling proud that he could stand with her support. Soon, Imran came into the room carrying a small bag. "Good morning, Rafi," he said kindly. "How are you feeling today?" Rafi thought for a moment and replied, "A little better, doctor. I think I can do more today." Imran nodded and checked his chart. "We will continue with the medicine and some exercises. They will help your body get stronger." As Rafi prepared to take his medicine, a commotion started outside the room. Voices rose in surprise, and the sound of hurried footsteps echoed in the corridor. Curious, Rafi looked out and saw a group of hospital staff gathered near the reception. He could hear whispers, and some people seemed worried. Amira noticed his gaze. "I wonder what is happening," she said softly. "Maybe someone needs help." Rafi's small hands tightened around hers, and he felt a mix of curiosity and nervousness. A few minutes later, a nurse entered Rafi's room. Her face looked serious, but there was respect in her eyes. "Rafi, the director of the hospital, is visiting today," she said. "He wants to see the patients and understand their needs. You might meet him soon." Rafi's eyes widened. He had never met anyone important before, and the thought made him both excited and nervous. Amira smiled and encouraged him. "Don't worry, Rafi, you have been brave. Just be yourself." While they waited, Imran gave Rafi a small task. "Why don't you draw something while you wait? It can help you feel calm." Rafi took a pencil and paper and began to draw a small picture of him and Amira walking to the hospital. As he drew, his hand shook a little, but he kept going. Amira looked at the picture and said, "This is beautiful, Rafi. You have a great imagination." Suddenly, the door opened, and a tall man in a formal suit entered. He looked around carefully and then smiled gently at Rafi and Amira. "Hello, children," he said kindly. "I am the director of this hospital. I heard about a brave young boy who has been waiting for help and has shown great patience." Rafi's heart pounded in his chest. He looked at the director with wide eyes, unsure of what to say. Amira whispered, "It's okay, Rafi, just greet him." Rafi nodded shyly. "Hello, sir," he said softly. The director knelt slightly to meet Rafi's eyes. "I am very proud of your courage, Rafi. You waited patiently even when people were unkind and you never gave up hope. That is a very special quality," he said warmly. Rafi felt a small smile forming on his face. Imran stood nearby, watching the interaction with satisfaction. He knew that Rafi's bravery and patience deserved recognition. The director continued, "I want to make sure that no child in this hospital is ever treated unfairly again. Your story will help us improve our care for everyone." Rafi felt a warm feeling in his chest. He had never imagined that his small voice and patience could have such an impact. Amira hugged him gently, whispering, "See, Rafi? Good things happen to good people." The director spent a few more minutes talking to the staff and emphasizing kindness and care. He praised the nurses who were now helping Rafi properly and encouraged everyone to learn from this experience. The atmosphere in the hospital began to change. Staff who had laughed at Rafi before now looked thoughtful and respectful. Later, Rafi returned to his bed and continued to rest, feeling a sense of pride. He realized that courage was not just about facing sickness, but also about staying patient and believing in goodness, even when people were unkind. For the first time, he felt that his presence had meaning and that his voice mattered. As the day ended, Rafi and Amira sat by the window watching the sunset. The sky glowed orange and pink, and a gentle breeze came through the open window. Rafi held Amira's hand and whispered, "Today was amazing. I feel stronger, not just in my body but in my heart." Amira smiled and nodded. "Yes, Rafi, you are stronger than you know, and tomorrow will be even better." The morning sun entered the hospital room with a gentle glow. Rafi woke up feeling stronger than yesterday, but he still felt a little tired. Amira was already beside him, humming a soft tune. She smiled when she saw him open his eyes. "Good morning, Rafi. You look much better today," she said. Rafi tried to sit up and took a deep breath. "I feel stronger today," he said quietly. Imran arrived shortly after, carrying a small tray of medicine and a chart. "Good morning, Rafi," he said with a smile. "We are going to continue your treatment today, and I have something special planned to help you recover faster." As Imran left briefly to speak with another nurse, Rafi and Amira looked out of the window. The hospital garden was filled with flowers and birds chirped happily in the morning light. For the first time, the hospital felt less like a scary place and more like a safe and welcoming space. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed through the corridor. Rafi and Amira turned to see a young boy, maybe a few years older than Rafi, running toward them. He was carrying a small bag and looked very worried. "Help! Someone help!" he shouted. Rafi felt a wave of concern. He motioned for Amira to stay calm while he got off the bed. Imran returned just in time to see the boy standing in the doorway, panting and frightened. "What is wrong?" Imran asked gently. The boy's eyes were wide with fear. "My little sister is very sick at home. I don't have money and I don't know what to do. Please, someone help her," he said urgently. Rafi looked at the boy and remembered how he had felt when no one helped him yesterday. His heart ached for the boy and his sister. Imran knelt down to the boy's level. "We will do our best to help your sister. Can you tell me her name and where she lives?" The boy nodded quickly and told him the address. Imran immediately instructed a nurse to prepare a small ambulance. He also called a team to bring the girl to the hospital safely. Rafi watched silently, feeling a strange mix of emotions. He had been weak and helpless not long ago, but now he felt strong enough to care about someone else. He looked at Amira and whispered, "We should help him. We know how it feels to be afraid." Amira smiled proudly at Rafi. "You are right, Rafi. Let's be kind and patient. That is the best way to help." As the ambulance left with the boy and the team, Rafi returned to his bed and sat down. He felt tired, but he also felt proud. For the first time, he realized that courage and kindness were connected. Helping others, even when you are weak, made you feel stronger inside. Later in the morning, Imran returned to check on Rafi. "You are doing very well, Rafi," he said kindly. "Your body is getting stronger every day." "I am very proud of you," Rafi smiled shyly. "Thank you, doctor." "I am learning to be brave, like you said." Amira leaned close and whispered, "See, Rafi? Bravery is not just about facing illness. It is about helping others and never giving up." Rafi nodded. He thought about the boy who had come earlier and felt a strong determination. He wanted to help anyone who needed him when he became stronger. The hospital staff had also noticed a change in Rafi. His patience and courage inspired many of them. Even the nurses who had ignored him earlier felt ashamed and promised themselves to treat every patient with kindness. Rafi's story was quietly spreading among the staff and patients. Everyone began to understand that patience, courage, and kindness could change the way people behaved. By the evening, Rafi had eaten properly, rested, and even taken a few small steps around the room. He could feel the energy returning to his small body. Amira helped him sit by the window again, and they watched the sun slowly set, painting the sky with colors of orange and pink. Rafi held Amira's hand tightly. "Tomorrow will be a better day, Amira. I feel stronger and braver now," he whispered. Amira smiled and nodded. "Yes, Rafi. You are learning what true courage means, and you are ready for whatever comes next." As the night approached, Rafi closed his eyes with a peaceful heart. He realized that his journey was not just about getting better physically, but also about growing inside. Courage, patience, and kindness were becoming part of who he was, and tomorrow he would face the world with hope and strength. The next morning, Rafi woke up feeling even stronger. The sunlight streamed through the window, filling the room with warmth. Amira was already beside him, humming a happy tune. She smiled when she saw him open his eyes. "Good morning, Rafi. You look full of energy today," she said. Rafi tried to sit up and stretch. "I feel much better today," he said softly. Imran entered the room shortly after, carrying a small tray with medicine and water. "Good morning, Rafi," he said kindly. "We will continue your treatment today, and I have some activities planned that will help your body become even stronger." Rafi nodded with a small smile. He was excited to feel healthier and wanted to get stronger so he could help others. Just as Imran left the room briefly to speak with the nurses, a sudden loud sound came from the corridor. Rafi and Amira looked up, curious and a little nervous. A group of people had gathered near the entrance. The noise of voices filled the air. Rafi could hear some staff members talking in low but urgent tones. "What is happening?" Amira asked quietly. Imran returned and said with concern, "There is an emergency in another part of the hospital. A young boy has fainted, and the staff needs help to attend him immediately. Rafi, I would like you to stay calm and rest while we handle the situation." Rafi nodded. He felt a mix of concern and fear for the boy who needed help, but he also trusted Imran. "I hope he will be okay," Rafi whispered. Amira squeezed his hand and said, "He will be fine. The doctors and nurses are strong and kind, just like you are learning to be." As the morning passed, Rafi noticed something else. Nurses and doctors who had ignored him before were now moving quickly and attentively. They were helping every patient with care and respect. Rafi realized that his story had already begun to change the way people behaved. The staff now understood the importance of kindness and patience. Later, Imran returned to Rafi's room with a gentle smile. "Rafi, I have some good news," he said. "The young boy who needed help is now stable. Your encouragement and bravery have inspired the team. You are helping others even by being yourself." Rafi felt a warm feeling inside. He had never imagined that simply being patient and brave could make such a difference. He looked at Amira and whispered, "I want to be like Imran. I want to help others when I grow stronger." Amira smiled proudly. "You already are, Rafi. You have a brave heart, and that is more important than anything else." During the afternoon, Rafi practiced walking a little further around the room. He could feel his muscles getting stronger. Imran encouraged him gently, praising every small step. "Every step you take is a victory, Rafi. Never forget that," he said. Just as Rafi was about to rest, the director of the hospital arrived again. He had heard about the change in the staff and wanted to see the young boy whose story had inspired everyone. The director knelt down to meet Rafi's eyes. "You are very brave, Rafi. You have taught everyone here an important lesson about patience, courage, and kindness," he said warmly. Rafi felt proud but also shy. He looked at Amira and whispered, "I never thought anyone would notice me like this." Amira smiled. "See, Rafi? Courage and patience always get noticed. People see the goodness in you." As the evening approached, Rafi and Amira sat by the window. The hospital garden was bathed in golden light and birds chirped softly. Rafi held Amira's hand and whispered, "I feel stronger not just in my body but in my heart. I want to help more people when I leave this hospital." Amira nodded and smiled. You will, Rafi. You have learned something very special here. You are brave, kind, and patient. These qualities will guide you through every challenge. Rafi closed his eyes for a moment and took a deep breath. He felt a sense of peace and courage that he had never felt before. The journey had not been easy, but he realized that even small acts of patience and bravery could create big changes. That night, Rafi slept with a calm heart, ready for the next day. He knew that challenges would come, but he also knew that he had grown stronger and wiser. His courage and kindness had already begun to change the hospital and the people around him. The next morning, Rafi woke up feeling a new sense of strength. He stretched his small arms and looked at Amira, who was already sitting beside him with a bright smile. Good morning, Rafi. You look very strong today, she said cheerfully. Rafi smiled back. I feel stronger, Amira. Today I want to walk more and maybe even play in the garden. Amira's eyes sparkled. That is a great idea, Rafi. I will help you. Imran entered the room soon after, carrying a chart and a small bag of medicine. Good morning, Rafi. You have made excellent progress. Today we will focus on strengthening your body further and helping you feel even healthier, he said kindly. As the morning passed, Rafi practiced walking carefully with Amira's support. Each step made him feel braver and his body felt more energetic. The hospital staff watched quietly, amazed at his determination. Even the nurses who had ignored him earlier felt inspired by his courage and patience. Just as Rafi was about to rest, a sudden commotion came from the hospital entrance. A man rushed in carrying a small boy in his arms. The boy was pale and weak, and his mother ran behind him, calling for help. Imran quickly stepped forward, guiding the staff. Everyone, we need to help them immediately, he said. Rafi watched closely, his heart pounding. He remembered how he had been ignored just days ago and felt a strong desire to help in any way he could. Rafi turned to Amira. I wish I could do something to help him, he whispered. Amira held his hand. You are helping already, Rafi. Your story has made the hospital better. Everyone is learning from you. Imran led the new boy to a treatment room. Rafi watched as the nurses moved quickly, following instructions carefully. The mother's eyes were filled with worry, but she felt relieved seeing the staff act so efficiently. Rafi's heart swelled with hope. Later, Imran came back to check on Rafi. You are growing stronger and braver every day, he said warmly. Your patience and courage have changed the hospital. Even the staff who were unkind before are learning how important it is to treat every patient with respect. Rafi felt proud. He looked at Amira and whispered, I never imagined that just waiting and being brave could make such a difference. Amira smiled. Sometimes, Rafi, the smallest acts of courage can change the world around us. In the afternoon, the hospital director returned to visit Rafi. He knelt to meet the boy's eyes. Rafi, your story has inspired everyone here, he said warmly. The nurses, the doctors, even the other patients, they are all learning from your bravery and patience. You have reminded us what it means to care for others with kindness. Rafi's eyes filled with tears of happiness. He realized that his experience had not only helped him get better, but had also taught the hospital an important lesson. He held Amira's hand and whispered, We did it, Amira. We made a difference. Amira hugged him gently. Yes, Rafi, you have been brave and kind, and that is the greatest strength anyone can have. As the evening approached, Rafi and Amira sat by the window, watching the sun set over the hospital garden. The sky was painted with warm colors, and birds sang softly in the trees. Rafi felt a deep sense of peace and accomplishment. He realized that courage was not only about facing illness, but also about remaining patient, kind, and hopeful, even when others are unkind. His journey had taught him that small acts of bravery could create big changes in the world around him. That night, Rafi closed his eyes with a calm heart. He knew that challenges might come in the future, but he also knew that his courage, patience, and kindness would guide him through anything. For the first time, he felt truly strong, not just in his body, but in his heart and spirit. The morning sun shone brightly through the hospital windows. Rafi woke up feeling stronger than ever. His small body had recovered, and his heart was full of hope and courage. Amira was beside him, smiling warmly. "Good morning, Rafi. You look amazing today," she said. Rafi tried to sit up on the bed. "I feel really strong now, Amira. Today I want to walk in the garden and see everything around the hospital," he said with excitement. Amira nodded. "That is a wonderful idea. You have worked hard to get better, and now you can enjoy it." Imran entered the room, carrying a small chart and a few papers. "Good morning, Rafi. I am very proud of you. Your recovery has been remarkable, and your courage has inspired everyone here. Today, I want to take you for a walk in the hospital garden," he said warmly. Rafi smiled brightly. He felt proud and excited. He had never imagined that he would be walking in the garden, surrounded by flowers and sunlight, just days ago when he was weak and scared. Amira helped him put on his shoes, and together they followed Imran through the hospital corridors. As they walked, Rafi noticed how different the hospital felt. Nurses and doctors smiled at him and greeted him kindly. The same staff who had mocked him before now looked at him with respect and admiration. They had learned an important lesson about kindness, patience, and courage. Rafi felt a warm feeling in his heart. When they reached the garden, Rafi's eyes lit up. Flowers of all colors bloomed around him, and the sunlight touched the grass, making it look golden. Birds sang happily in the trees, and the gentle breeze carried the sweet scent of flowers. Rafi took a deep breath and felt free and happy. He began walking slowly on the garden path, holding Amira's hand. Imran walked beside them, smiling proudly. "Look at you, Rafi. You are strong and brave. This garden is yours today," he said kindly. As Rafi explored the garden, some children playing nearby noticed him. They came closer, curious about the boy everyone was talking about. Rafi greeted them with a small smile, and soon they were playing together, laughing and running. Amira joined in, feeling happy to see Rafi smiling so freely. Later, the hospital director arrived to see Rafi in the garden. He knelt down to meet the boy's eyes. "Rafi, you have taught everyone here an important lesson. Your courage, patience, and kindness have changed this hospital. We will never forget what you have done," he said warmly. Rafi's eyes filled with tears of joy. He looked at Amira and whispered, "We did it, Amira. We changed the hospital for the better." Amira hugged him tightly. "Yes, Rafi. You were brave, and now everyone knows the importance of kindness." As the day went on, Rafi and Amira walked through the hospital, visiting the nurses and doctors. They thanked the staff who had helped Rafi recover and encouraged them to continue treating every patient with care and respect. The hospital staff felt proud and inspired, realizing that a small act of courage and patience could make a big difference. By evening, Rafi and Amira returned to their room. The sun was setting, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink. Rafi held Amira's hand and whispered, "I feel happy and strong. I know now that being patient and brave can change the world." Amira smiled. "Yes, Rafi. You are brave, kind, and strong. That is the best gift you can have." Imran came to check on Rafi one last time for the day. "You have done wonderfully, Rafi. Your journey shows everyone here what true courage means. You will continue to inspire people wherever you go," he said with pride. Rafi closed his eyes, feeling calm and peaceful. He realized that his journey was not just about recovering from sickness. It was about learning patience, courage, and kindness. He had faced challenges, stayed strong, and inspired others. He knew that these qualities would guide him throughout his life. As night fell, Rafi and Amira looked out of the window at the stars. The hospital was quiet and peaceful. Rafi whispered softly, "Thank you, Amira. Thank you, everyone, for helping me and teaching me to be brave." Amira hugged him and said, "You were brave all along, Rafi. Now everyone sees it." Rafi closed his eyes with a heart full of hope. He knew that life could have challenges, but courage, patience, and kindness would always help him overcome them. The hospital had changed, and so had he. He was ready to face the world, strong in body, heart, and spirit.